If you knew morning wood, then you know why I feel blue. Without morning, my morning wood. Oh, well, I love you, yes, I love you, morning wood. Morning wood, morning wood. Oh, how my heart yearns for you. Oh, morning, my morning wood. Oh, well, I love you, yes, I love you, morning wood. Morning wood, morning wood. Pretty, 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 pretty morning wood. Oh, morning, my morning wood. Oh, well, I love you and I need you, morning wood. I love you.
Rise and shine. Happy Devil's Friday. This is The Morning Woo. Coming to you live from the Mobile Command Center. Yes, the Primetime Radio Mobile Command Center in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, Twitch. We're having trouble with Instagram Live today. Having a lot of tech problems today. Getting this podcast off the ground. You know, when we stream on X, you have to pay a premium. Well, my credit card on file expired, so I had to attend to that. And then I had to change passwords. And I had to do all that stuff to get this podcast off the ground. The Morning Woo. 69 straight days of morning talk with me, the host, Sam Woo. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Bad night last night for the New Jersey Devils. Bad night overall. And finally, Scotty, on Devils After Dark, is finally realizing that what I've been saying the last few weeks has now come true. The New Jersey Devils are not a very good team. I hate to tell the truth. I hate to be the messenger. But they're simply not. Case in point, last night was an absolute disaster. Only positive you can say is they scored 4 goals, but pretty much the game was over at that point. But last night was an absolute disaster. And we've had some of these nights in recent weeks. But I'm going to tell you right now that the foundational pieces that have been put together by Tom Fitzgerald and the Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment Group, the foundation and the pillars are cracking, and it's showing right now. The fundamentals are not there. The energy, the grit, all the above. When this team loses, well, they do it right. They lose really badly. And last night was just inexcusable on so many levels. But I'm going to tell you right now, the Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment Group, they own many teams. The Washington Commanders, the Philadelphia 76ers, obviously the New Jersey Devils. They've got a soccer football team somewhere in England. I don't know, Crystal something. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you right now, they got to rip it all down. They can keep some of the pieces there, but they got to rip it all down. Because what they've been doing with all of their sports franchises is not working. Last season, with the Washington Commanders, they had a great year. Drafting Jaden Daniels, second overall pick, the quarterback out of LSU. And I thought to myself, this is another RG3 waiting to happen. This guy's going to get knocked out. You can't play like this in the NFL. And that's exactly what's happened. They think they know what they're doing. The Washington Commanders are now back to being the laughingstock of the league. I know that they've had a tough year, but they're losing. 76ers, they've gone nowhere. They've had some pretty good regular seasons, but if you want to go back 10, 15 years ago, how bad the 76ers were, all the first overall picks that they had in the NBA draft. Well, I'm going to tell you, same thing. Have the Sixers won any championships? The Phillies have back in 2009. The Eagles have. They've won 2 Super Bowls. The Flyers are now rebuilding, on their way up and up. Nothing. No results. The New Jersey Devils have gone nowhere. Brian's saying, I'm so miserable because our Devils are continuing to lose games. Yes, they are. They're losing games. And I'll tell you where the problem is. It starts from the top. I said this last night. I believe it again because I've been saying this for a couple years right now. It starts up top. And I will tell you that the way they do things looks good on paper, looks good, sounds good, but the reality, they're not good. We got to stop with what we're doing. The foundational pieces of the New Jersey Devils have cracked. Jack Hughes goes out with an injury, and this entire team just sinks. And I'm not talking about losing games. It's more than that. But pathetic effort coming out when they came out last night against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Just absolutely terrible effort. And it all goes back, in my opinion, being too focused and putting too much emphasis on these stupid analytics. The same thing is happening with the New York Mets as well. Doing the same exact thing. Now fans are up in an uproar right now because now they're truly doing I don't know what they're doing right now. But they have the same thing. The two owners have one thing in common. They're hedge fund guys. They only know what they know. And I don't know. I think the New Jersey Devils, they say the right things, the PR-wise and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, what looks good on paper is never good on paper. This team has no fight. Sure that they had a meeting last night. The comments will stay in the room, I guess. But I'm as frustrated as you. Looking at some of the comments. Inexcusable right now, says Dubzilla. Oh, of course it's inexcusable. Trade everything, not named Nico Hughes, Timo Nemec. You know what? You want to talk about this Quinn Hughes thing? The Devils don't have the foundational pieces to take on a prized player like Quinn Hughes. Great players may hide a lot of the misgivings and the foundational pieces that are cracking. They may kind of, put a Band-Aid over it. But if you want to really do things right, you got to really build a team before you bring on these big players onto the New Jersey Devils. Remember Ray Shero? I mean, they went all in on Taylor Hall. And, yeah, the Devils went and clinched the playoff spot. But long term, Taylor Hall was long gone. I mean, they almost gave this guy a gigantic contract, Taylor Hall. They were whining, dining him. To their credit, Joshua Harris and David Blitzer, they were doing everything to get him to sign long term. But the Devils got lucky. He did not. They got lucky. And this team, there are goaltending issues right now. I can't believe I'm saying this. You just signed Jacob Markstrom to a two-year extension when there were early warning signs earlier in the season that he was not as good as last season. You could have waited, but I get it. You want to get that squared away. But my goodness, this is a ship that's sinking and sinking fast. And forget about Quinn Hughes. I'm telling you, forget about Quinn Hughes. There's more to fix here, and Quinn Hughes is not your savior to fix this New Jersey Devils team. Now, I'm not saying not to trade for Quinn Hughes, but you're going to have to rip it up. Retool and change the culture in the locker room. These guys are not focused. They are inconsistent. They are playing lethargic at times. You can say the right things, but this is a result-oriented business. You're not winning games. And you just blew all the benefits of that 8-1 start. Now you're just staying afloat, and only because you had that 8-1 start. This team is not going anywhere, and is not going anywhere fast. I get it that there are players that have been injured. Timo Meier, no fault of his own, family leave. But still, it's just absolutely pathetic. Devils Mets fans, 63-93. Is the team demoralized when the goalie is not able to make a save? Then the GM signs 35-year-old goalie 2 more years. Defense is playing terrible. It's the entire organization. You can't really pinpoint it to just one thing. And usually when you can't pinpoint it to one thing, then you have to look to the top. It starts with ownership. It starts with Tom Fitzgerald. The entire scouting, Utica Comets, they suck right now. And that is another red flag. When your farm system, they've got players, but when your farm system is not winning and they're not developing the way they should be, that's another red flag as well. Looking at some of the comments, Middlelander, we can't just flush this loss. We got our asses kicked. We were outworked, outcompeted, and outclassed. Yeah, Keefe is the only guy I respect right now, Dubzilla. Well, yeah, because he has diagnosed the problem. But unfortunately, there are things that are beyond his control. You know, you can only motivate these players so much, but it's got to come from the general manager. You remember the Lou Lamoriello days. Everything went through him. You've got to hold Tom Fitzgerald accountable. Tom Fitzgerald, he's a player's GM. I respect that. I respect a lot of things he's done. But right now, this is where it's led us. 5 years, hired in 2020 out of nowhere. You give him a pass with COVID. He's had some success, the New Jersey Devils. A record-breaking season out of nowhere back in 2022-23 season. Okay, but they've regressed the next season. The season after, which was last season, they made it to the playoffs. They got to do better than that. The expectation is this team should be going deep in the playoffs and become a perennial Stanley Cup contender. Devils fans deserve better than this. 10 years a rebuild. 10 years of suffering. 10 years of you have to trust the process. We know what we're doing. We got analytics now. We're rebuilding this. We've got all these new scouts. It has resulted in a failure at this point because the old Devils way was Stanley Cup or bust. It was nothing else. It was kind of like the New York Yankees, that mentality. And would ownership group at some point make a bold move? And again, on this podcast, I don't call for people, their jobs to be removed. But at this point, there needs to be a culture change. This is what I would do if I was the owner of the New Jersey Devils. I would take Tom Fitzgerald off his post, and in the interim, hire Lou Lamoriello to give structure and culture back to the old Devils way, which has tremendous amount of history of winning. You hadn't done it in over 20 years. I get that. But what he did with Toronto, remember how big of a mess Toronto was when he was hired by Brendan Shanahan away from the New Jersey Devils. The New York Islanders, okay, they were doing this transition to the new arena. They won some pretty big playoff games and series. They didn't make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, but they were definitely improved because the New York Islanders for many years have been a laughingstock of the National Hockey League. Say what you want about Lou Lamoriello. He's made some bad decisions. I'm not saying he is, but you hire Lou Lamoriello as intern GM and you groom Marty Brodeur right now, somebody with credibility as a player. He's learning on the job right now, but you got to go back to the past. Play Devils hockey. Get this culture straightened out and start holding everybody throughout the entire organization accountable. That's the nuclear option. That is bold. That is actually making wholesale changes. I'm not saying I have all the right answers here, but that's what needs to happen. Dubzilla says, okay, I'm done ranting. Enjoy the day. Keep up the great work, Stan. I love the idea. Anything for Uncle Lou. Told you in the attic. Coaching my buddy in college. Classic. Well, I don't want to bring Lou Lamoriello back, but there's a culture problem here. I know the Devils, they basically threw away what worked with the New Jersey Devils for so many years. They threw it away. They brought in this new age analytics. They rely too heavily on it. And what has it gotten us? Nowhere. Analytics is a tool. It's definitely a necessary evil. But in my opinion, culture is everything. And it has to happen organically. It has to be authentic. It has to be genuine. I'm praying that these players are going to figure it out in the locker room, but honestly, we've seen this rodeo before. We've seen this show. Tom Fitzgerald's in a bad spot right now. Let's forget about this Quinn Hughes thing. I know it's going to hurt. I know that, the marketing and all that, but if you really want to win Stanley Cups, some of these players need to be sitting in the press box watching. And we need goaltending right now. We need a defense right now. We can't wait for guys to come back. The team has enough talent here to put up a better performance than they did against the Tampa Bay Lightning last night. That's all I'm saying. And this is not working. And at some point, this has got to stop. Anyway, I want to thank all those tuning in. Sorry for the negative morning woo. Normally I'm pretty chipper and all that, but there are days there where we have to have a hard conversation about this team. I'm not happy with this team. I just don't like the optics. I don't like the body language. I don't like a lot of things that's happened in the last 3 or 4 weeks. And I've complimented this team when they've done well, when they do the right things, the little things right. But right now they're not doing anything right, with the exception of maybe Gritzik, Nemitz, and some of these AHLers that have come up. These veterans need to lead and step up. And Jay Snow, this core needs to be broken up. Unfortunately, I hate to be that guy to give you the bad news. It's more than just the core. It's the culture. It starts from the top. It starts with Joshua Harris and David Blitzer. You can't just go on this path. None of your teams win. We want championships. We don't want just get far in the playoffs and then fall short. You guys make a boatload of money. Fans want championships. That's the bottom line. Otherwise, what do you think we're doing here? We just wasted our time last night. That's not winning. But going to get out of here. Just want to do the ceremonial sip, saluting you, the Devils fans. That's, suffered through enough in the last few weeks. This is all I got. I got green tea with ginseng and honey with other natural flavors, apparently. So I salute you, the Devils fan, with the ceremonial sip of the Morning Woo. This weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we got some games against the Ducks and also against the Vancouver Canucks. Traffic is going to be bad. Parking is going to be bad. Excuse me. Getting around Newark tomorrow for whatever reason. But we'll get through it. Get there early. We'll be at American Whiskey. Game Day Live, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. A drink to that. Till next time, this is the Morning Woo. Let's go, Devils.
Mama!